Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is Joel's DIY. Yesterday I got this in the mail. It's supposed to be one of those old iPod charger cables, but it's actually got the old connection, which is a female, into a male. And the reason I bought this is because I wanted to put it on an old appliance that charges and also plays music from your iPod. I got it in the mail and I tried plugging it in my iPod before I went to bed last night, and the head came off. I don't know if you can see that right there, but it completely tore off. Instinctively, I thought of just throwing this whole thing away, being that it only cost me about $5. But the bottom line is that I thought that maybe we can try to salvage it by putting in a donor head so that we can still use it. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and install the other part onto this cable. What I've already started doing was stripping down the actual cables. And what we're going to do is we're going to solder them together using this as a donor. This is an old Belkin cable. We'll use this as a donor, and then we'll try it out in a bit. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off from the other side, because as you can see, it's got one of those normal plugs, USB plugs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop this off and figure out a way to connect it together, and I'm going to solder the cables with the other cables, and we're going to try to see if it works now. So this is what we're doing today. So I will show you what that looks like in a minute. So this is where we're at with the project. So this came off, cut those right off. And what I found inside was basically the same thing that I found for the other cable that I had. I'm assuming that this guy right here is a ground, so that's probably going to go into the black. And these other guys are probably going to match up to the other ones. So assuming that works, we'll have this cable up and running in just a sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and strip each one of these cables, and I'm going to solder them into these, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'll show you how I get that done. So far what I've done is I got the insulation put on the green cable. Let's see if I can try to zoom that in. So this is where we're at right now. We have actually been able to put the insulation. Let's see if I can clear this out just to, there you go. So far this is what we have. We've gotten the insulation into the actual cable. And then we have rolled up and put together the two cables that are supposed to be soldered together. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and solder this, and I'm going to show you how I put the insulation on those cables. That way we get a tight connection between the two cables. So let's try and do that now. Now what I like to do is just like to hold down the cable, get it nice and warm, and kind of ease in with the solder. Don't like to use too much solder because then you'll get a cold solder. Okay. Let's see how good of a... Yeah, that is a tight... I don't know if you can see that there, but that is very tight. The solder is right there. So that's not going to go anywhere. So now we can go ahead and have the insulation on there. Go ahead and... So the other thing that I like to do is I like to just use my own iron and just have it. I don't own a heat gun at the moment, so I just warm it up. The insulation will just shrink wrap into the cable to shield it. I did not get the best insulation because all of my insulation tubes were lost when I moved the last time, so I'm making do with this one, but I'm sure it'll work just fine. Just try to get it to shrink. Make it a nice tight fit. So that should do it. Okay, so the rest of the job will be going ahead and doing the rest. See if I can get it to focus. It'll just have to do with us doing the rest of these other cables. Okay, and I will show you the end result now. We have the finished product here. We use some of this to roll the cables up. And because again I don't have the proper insulation, I just decided to go ahead and use electrical tape. I strongly do recommend just to put some insulation there, that way it looks a little bit more put together. But this will be kind of a temporary situation. I might just slip in something later on, we'll see. But for the time being, this will do. The next step will be to go upstairs and try this out. The radio's in my bedroom, so we will have to film from there just to see if the project worked. So stay tuned. Okay everyone, we're back. So I've connected my phone over to the cable, and as you can see, well, you can see that my phone is currently not charging. So we'll just go ahead and plug this in to our radio. Okay, so I've gone ahead and plugged it in. And as you can see, get that into focus, it is charging. So we have a successful mod of this cable that tore into this radio. So I can, and I used to plug in my old iPhone on there, but it doesn't work anymore because Apple went ahead and changed the cable. So now I have to use this pin. I have to use this cable. But as you can see, we have a charge. So this will be a viable way that I can use this radio from now on.